Heyo everybody, Haku here with my read-through for Magical Girl Raising Project or Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku Queens Chapter 2. Sorry about being a little bit late on this one, so I ended up being super busy outside of YouTube from Thursday to Monday, so I wasn't able to do the video on Friday as usual. So because of that, you're going to get two videos this week. You're going to have this one whenever it's up. I'm recording it on Tuesday and trying to post it on Tuesday, but it might not be up till Wednesday, depending on how quickly I can get this finished. Once I'm done recording and all that, like how quickly I can edit and all that. I'm not going to be rushing the video or anything. I wanted to do this in two parts, but there really isn't a good place to split it into two parts. It's kind of like there's 31 pages and there's a scene break at page 10, 18, and 24. So for this video, I'm going to go to page 10. Then in the next video, I'll go to page either 18 or 24, depending on how I'm feeling, and that'll be up Friday. And then next Friday, when I do the next video, it'll be finishing out Chapter 2. So I'm going to have to split it into three parts. But yeah, either way, let's start reading. We got the first 10 pages. I'm excited to see how this one goes. I see clicking onto this that we're starting with Mana, so we're not picking up directly where we left off. But what I'm most excited for is we had Snow White being locked up, and Uluru was about to talk to her. We had a lot of really great character stuff last chapter with Uluru. So I really want to see how that conversation goes. That's what I'm most excited about for this chapter, is that conversation. Last chapter in general was just a really, really great first chapter. We had good setup for things that are happening in this arc. We had good character development for Uluru. Yeah, we had a lot of good stuff just in the first chapter, but we're starting off Chapter 2, Snow White and the Shepherd, with Mana. What the hell kind of alias is the magical girl Hunter anyways? Ever since Snow White had been considered to be a member of the Examination Division, Mana had objected every time. However, due to Snow White's actions, the Examination Division had no choice but to push for her unofficial employment. Snow White's position is very troubling. Being a survivor of Clanberry's test means becoming an honorary member of the Land of Magic. That much is okay, but now that Snow White had resources, she began hunting down rogue magical girls. For the most part, she hunted them down without the Land of Magic's permission, but always handed them over to the Examination Division. She would even take tips from the Examination Division and act on them. After all, she legally couldn't arrest someone, if she wasn't officially in the Examination Division. Because Snow White was doing an efficient job, the Examination Division decided to make her an honorary member. External staff, they called her. This gave her the legal right to arrest rogue magical girls while also granting them a layer of plausible deniability. Snow White herself didn't care what they gave her, so long as she was able to keep doing what she was doing before. Mana's journey to the Examination Division was different. She was handicapped from the start, being a mage trying to compete against magical girls. However, she kept studying and practicing. One day, I'll become the best examiner. Mana's journey to becoming one of the best in the Examination Division was harder than any magical girl by comparison. It's extremely rare for a mage to outclass a magical girl, so doing that in itself was a trial, but she finally made it. This was different from Snow White. Mana dislikes Snow White, especially considering how she acts and how she got into the Examination Division. They have worked together before, once. Mana was assigned a case and Snow White was her partner. That was the one time she worked with Snow White. It was horrible. She was annoying. She went ahead on her own, didn't follow any of Mana's orders, and couldn't care less about cooperating with her. I really, really like this because it's showing how, like, two main-ish, I guess, characters from two different arcs have this negative opinion of one another, or at least Mana has a negative opinion of Snow White. I like that. Seeing Snow White from somebody else's perspective. Alright? If Mana got into her temper tantrum, Snow White would always easily shut her down immediately. She was efficient, but a pain to work together with. Still, Mana was older than her, so she had to keep her cool. She can't lash out against a rookie magical girl. Sometimes Snow White would even leave her mascot at a base when pursuing a dangerous target, without telling Mana or her mascot where she was going to go. The mascot Fall would talk to Mana about Snow White. She's not as bad as you think, Pone. She's just misunderstood, Pone. Really, she's a nice girl, Pone. Snow White wants to join the examination division, Pone. She just won't say it. Snow White, she actually respects you, Pone. A lot, Pone. She's just not good with people, and is trying to protect you by going ahead. Trust me on this one, Pone. The mascot kept saying these things endlessly. It's clear that the mascot was very close with Snow White. Mana can't decide if that's a good or a bad thing. Still, the case was over, and they arrested the rogue magical girl. She never wants to work with Snow White ever again. And yet, she's looking for Snow White now. How ironic. The examination division has access to several magical gates. These gates allow teleportation to various locations in the human world. Unfortunately, there is no gate that connects the examination headquarters and the base of any of the three sages. The closest Mana can go to was W City. From there, she'd have to take a car along the highway to reach Puck Manor. A magical girl named Shadowgale was kidnapped. Flea is asking for assistance, and Snow White can't be contacted. There are hints that the three sages are involved with all of this. Not only that, but there exists a possibility that the B-City incident was also involved in this somehow. Mana's always been investigating the B-City incident. Even now, she wants to know what really happened. Why did the people that died there have to die? What reason do they have for the barrier? All those people. Even though Mana doesn't know the answer to all these, it still pains her when she has to think about B-City. It was a simple job. They should have been chasing an assassin. That was the job. One rogue magical girl, and a lot of backup and security. Then, prisoners from the Land of Magic began interfering in events. She had no idea why. Land of Magic personnel were killed. That had been a painful incident, taking the lives of innocents, both humans and magical girls. It took the life of her sister. She wanted to know the details of the incident in full, and why it happened. She kept saving it for later. Navigating the blacklisted sections and forbidden articles of the various divisions can be dangerous, and a journey of their own. It's not something you can fit in the middle of another mission. The most progress she made in investigating B-City was from contacting a veteran magical girl of the Human Resources Division, as well as her close friend Nanako-san. Nanako-san led her to Flea, who she says has more information. Mana usually wants to classify a person that she met as either black or white. She understands that there are gray areas, but a job's easier if you know who's on whose side. When she met Flea, her first instinct was black. What she thought of and what she spoke of, however, made her seem white. But her instincts continued to tell her that the rate she's going, she's headed into black. That was her first meeting with Flea. She didn't gain any other meaningful information about about B-City from her, but ever since then she never trusted her. So, when Flea visited the examination division, Mana was prepared to see through any trickery she had. But Flea actually looked very desperate, despite not showing it. Even if Flea wasn't a magical girl, she would still seek out alternatives. That's why Mana acted on Flea's information. This is more than just a bluff. Flea's desperate, and as they say, a cornered snake is more dangerous than a normal one. And I like this too, how Mana can see through Flea's intentions here. Mana headed off to Puck Manor while Flea was waiting in the receptionist area of the Examination Division HQ. Flea had asked Mana to have a magical phone ready for her to communicate. Mana explained that she couldn't use the phone while driving. Flea then said it's fine, because Mana can put it on loudspeaker and place it in the passenger seat. Mana sighed but agreed. After all, she wanted to make sure Flea was still waiting in the Examination Division. She didn't trust any of the guards to watch her. Personally, I'd love to leave the Puck faction to the Ask faction, but they've also been making moves lately, said Flea through the loudspeaker. Every time Flea spoke, Mana got a little more irritated. Alright, let's get something to drink really quick. I like this a lot. I'm really interested in the stuff. I said before I was most excited to see what's going to go on with Snow White and with Snow White and Uluru, and I am, but this is exciting too. This is good too. I'm really liking though how Mana is able to see through Flea a bit. I mean, obviously not fully, but a little bit. The only thing is, I've been thinking while reading this, man, I kind of wish Wedden was still here. This would have been a really good role for Wedden. But yeah, either way. Continuing on, Mana got a little more irritated. You trying to act like my handler. You know I don't need to talk to you at all. Don't try to do examination division business and let me do my job, said Mana. Truthfully, the examination division has been trying to stay away from cases related to the three sages. The political consequences are too high, and there's not much proof they can use against the sages themselves. Mana could never agree with that. Her morals always trumped any procedure she had to go through. She wondered if that was the proper mentality. After all, it's that kind of thinking that got her sister killed. She thought of Hana. She missed her still, and she still wishes things ended up differently. A wonderful examiner like Hana, lost from the world. She jolted as the car nearly crashed. She can't think of what she lost when she's driving like this. That's too dangerous. Sometimes she wondered if she should have just taken the initiative to try and talk with her father, too. Do you know where you're going? Asked Flea. Yes, I do. Perfectly fine, replied Mana. Well, you're taking a lot of unnecessary detours. No, I am not. This is the route to the location. There are plenty of shortcuts on the way. I know where everything is. It's perfectly fine. Either way, you're driving too fast. I'm not driving too fast. Drive any faster and you'll break the speed limit. No, I'm driving perfectly fine. Doesn't feel like it from here. From where? Or from there? Wait, how the hell do you know how fast I'm driving? You're not even in the car. Human Resources has ways of tracking down official Land of Magic vehicles. Oh, looks like you're speeding up, Mana. Mana rammed the brakes. She was so irritated that she was unconsciously making the car go faster by stepping on the gas. There's a traffic jam up ahead, said Flea. No, there isn't. Yes, there is. Up in the intersection ahead is a traffic jam. How would you know that? GPS, remember? It's the fastest road to our destination. But it'll take longer because of the traffic jam. I suggest we reroute. No, we're taking the road. Take the underpass to your left. Not gonna do that. Mana, now you're just being childish. You should really stop talking. The underpass really is the fastest way. Trust me. Mana gritted her teeth and took the underpass route. That wasn't so hard, right? Asked Flea. Sure. I feel like Flea is testing her, slowly starting to get her to listen to her commands through stuff like this. By the way, you look quite young, Mana. Oh, what, you're complimenting my appearance now? No, that's not what I meant. I mean, there's a chance you'll be stopped by the police. For looking young? Yes, you'll look around high school. They'll stop and ask you for a driver's license. Do you have one? I have ID. But that's the examination division ID. That's not valid in the human world. I have my civilian ID. I'm curious. Did you take a picture of your ID with your witch costume? Of course not. Ah, but it would look so much better. You're wearing your witch outfit right now, right? Oh, but my previous question. Do you have a driver's license? I can make one. Have you never taken a driving test? That doesn't matter. I've made licenses before. It's never failed me yet. Mana, I'm shocked. I thought the examination division would at least train you with cars. We have magic that can make the cars go on autopilot. We don't need dedicated driving. So all this time you don't even know how to drive a car? I know how to drive a car. Mana, you're speeding again. Hey, maybe I can drive a little better if you shut up. Oh, my apologies. Mana took a deep breath and continued driving steadily. Yes, before I forget, I should tell you Puck-Puck's powers. Oh, now she gets to the point. Puck-Puck's magical skill is terrifying, is my first thought, but she says, Puck-Puck's magical skill is dangerous. If you see her, then you'll effectively become her friend. You'll adore her, you'll love her, and you'll want to help her and do whatever it takes to make her happy. Since you're headed to Puck Manor, I suggest caution. This can be an obstacle in your investigation, and there's no known cure for it either. Wait, how do you know her magical skill? I'm in Human Resources. It's in my business. She's a sage. You don't just get public knowledge of a sage's powers like that. There are ways, and rumors and documents if you find them. Other factions will also try to make a move on her, most notably the Osk faction, and their intel is useful. Also, I tested it. You what? I tested it. I know her powers work. She posts videos to websites. I know it works. Wait, are you saying... It's not as severe of an effect if you only watch a video. I believe it's not just sight, but sound as well. The Ask faction has been trying to replicate the power, or perhaps to fight against the Puck faction. Slow down, you're telling me you tested it on yourself. A small silence before Flea spoke again. The video I saw was breathtaking to see the least. When I watched it, I did have feelings of adoration, and it's difficult to describe or think about. And yes, you can say that the video captivated my heart. However, I'm fine now. Like I said, I believe it's not as severe as facing her directly. That only begs the question of why the Ask faction knows about her powers. The Ask faction must have had countless trial and error tests. I only reaped their results. It would make sense, because if the Puck faction moves, then the Ask faction moves as well. They're in conflict, you see, so intelligence is key. Mana listened in. This is going to be a long job. Alright, this was only 15 minutes, so I'm actually going to go to page 18. Alright, here we go. Uluru. Uluru didn't expect such a light, so yeah, I'll do to 18 here, and then I'll finish it off in the video on Friday. So yeah, you'll be getting all of Chapter 2 this week. So we have Uluru here. Uluru didn't expect such a light prison for what Snow White has done. She was only locked up in the drawing room, with nothing to keep her from leaving. The drawing room itself was brightly lit and filled with cute little things, which doesn't suit the image of Snow White at all. The lighting was provided by a chandelier hanging above the room. There were some kid tables and chairs as well. Snow White still stared blankly at Uluru. Uluru didn't know how to react. She gripped her pop gun and kicked the door closed, but she kicked it so hard it went flying back open and hit Uluru's head. Disgruntled, she slammed the door with her hand. She moved toward Snow White. Snow White, your friend. What did she... Sachiko. There were so many things that Uluru wanted to let out. So many things that Uluru wanted to say to Snow White. Seeing Snow White's face made her conflicted, but she was still angry about the part she played in Sachiko's death. Just, what were you even thinking? Shouted Uluru. I don't know. Huh? That wasn't the response that Uluru expected. Snow White didn't reply in anger or anything like that. She sounded like she considered herself worthless. Nothing. Nothing? She was your friend. You said we could trust her. You told me we could trust her. She was being manipulated. Uluru slammed the table. You think that Sorry, my voice. You think that excuses her? Sachiko's dead. Sachiko's dead, and that's not going to change. It's never going to change. The only one that could manipulate her is Pithy Frederica. I don't think she was in control of her actions. You're not even listening to me. You're the magical girl hunter, right? You're supposed to stop rogue magical girls, not let them kill someone. You're supposed to help us, so why? Uluru couldn't hold back her tears as they started to flow out. She wanted to be angry, but she was also sad. Snow White still looked blankly at Uluru. Uluru didn't know what to do. What was she supposed to say? Her sisters can't have died in vain. Was there really nothing she could do? Why are you asking me these things? Asked Snow White. Huh? What do you want from me, Uluru? You... Why did you come here? When Snow White looked back at Uluru, her face was that of anger and disgust. This wasn't the same Snow White that Uluru knew before. I've had enough of this, said Snow White. She stood up. Uluru grabbed Snow White's shoulders from behind. Oh? She wanted to speak. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Snow White shrugged off Uluru's hand and turned around, towering over her. Are you expecting me to help you with something? Why do you think I'll help you? Huh? Why? Why did you come here, Uluru? Uluru bit her lips. Tears began streaming out of her eyes as she backed away. Snow White was angry. Uluru never saw Snow White like this. Snow White was supposed to be the voice of reason, calm, emotionless, and I can't tell if this is because Snow White is under the effects of Puck-Puck's powers, or if Snow White's legitimately just angry and confused because of what's happening to Ripple. Alright? Uluru realized why she was so angry at Snow White. Uluru knew that the ninja was the one who killed her sister. Snow White may be telling the truth that the ninja was manipulated. Snow White had no reason to kill Sachiko, so why was Uluru so angry at Snow White? Ever since Snow White began working for Puck-Puck, Sarami and Sachiko looked up to Snow White as their leader. Snow White displayed the traits of a leader. Sarami always seemed to gravitate more towards Snow White as soon as she showed up. Sachiko also was calmer when Snow White analyzed the situation. It wasn't just the way that Snow White acted that made Uluru angry back then. It was always something else. Finally, Uluru realized it. Snow White was a better sister than Uluru could ever be. Because of that, she was angry at her. She didn't accept it, but that was the true reason. In reality, Uluru didn't respect Snow White, but she couldn't see, or did respect Snow White, but she couldn't see past that. But why did Uluru come here, angry like this? Was it really to blame Snow White? Uluru thought that she would feel better after confronting Snow White about Sachiko's death, but seeing Snow White like this only made Uluru worse. And Uluru felt like she was partly responsible. Uluru opened her mouth and spoke. You're wrong. This isn't you. This isn't you at all. You're always the one to keep her cool. You're the one everyone looks up to. Stop it. You're so reliable. You're a kind person. Sachiko was a loner, but she opened up to you. Sarami too. This isn't you. I was angry at that. I was angry at you for that. Don't you dare think you can put me on some high throne. Don't you dare make me out to be someone I'm not. Uluru knows that Snow White's angry. Snow White must be looking for a way to vent her anger just like Uluru. They were more alike than she thought. Uluru grabbed Snow White and pulled her close. Listen to me. You're a magical girl. Shut up. You came to help us. You came to help Sachiko because you're a magical girl of justice. Shut up. You're not supposed to be like this. Let go of me. You're not being yourself. Snow White headbutted Uluru. Uluru was numbed by the pain and shock. The tears that were flowing from before continued to flow, but this time she felt her nose bleeding. Uluru looked up at Snow White, whose face was consumed with anger. You're a magical girl of justice. Shut up, Uluru. If you stop being angry at what you lost, you're gonna go rogue just like the others. Or if you keep being angry at what you lost. Stop. Snow White covered her ears. Surely Snow White can read Uluru's heart. She was telling the truth. This isn't the Snow White that she respected and known. Uluru realized that she was never angry at Snow White. She never truly blamed Snow White. She was angry that her sisters died and that she couldn't be the older sister she could. She had been projecting that anger onto Snow White the whole time. Now Uluru wanted to tell Snow White how much she actually means to her sisters, and how Uluru respected her. You're the magical girl hunter, right? You hunt down rogues. Your friend's being manipulated, so you need to hunt down the manipulator. That's why you're a magical girl. I never gave myself that title. People started calling me that. I allowed it, but I never asked for that. But there's a reason you didn't deny it. There's a reason you kept the title. I'm not this person you think I am. I'm not this ideal magical girl. I'm not some kind of savior. I'm not the magical girl you think I am. And what about your friend? And I love this, continuing with the theme of the ideal magical girl can't be the ideal magical girl. And what about your friend? The one who was manipulated. You're just gonna leave them like that? Huh? Snow White walked over to Uluru and grabbed her collar, lifting her up. She looked like she was ready to beat down Uluru. Well, you don't look like you're going to do anything about it, said Uluru. Her heart was shaking. She was scared of Snow White. Uluru's one of my favorites. She may have struck too close to home, but this might be needed. Snow White released her grip. She went back to her chair, sat down, and looked at the floor. Uluru looked down towards Snow White. I'm not going to tell you some sappy lie. If you don't want to be the magical girl that I believe you are, then I'm going to do it for you. My sisters are dead. Your friend is being manipulated. Whoever's at the top of that ladder is going to pay. I'm not going to forgive them. The clouded emotions in Uluru's head cleared up. She knew what she wanted to do now. I'm going away. I'm going to find who manipulated your friend, and I'm going to find who killed my sisters. And I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, and I don't know about you, but I'd love to have your help, said Uluru, wiping the blood from her nose. Snow White looked up at Uluru. They're my enemies, but they were yours first. You sit this out, they win. I'm not good at encouraging people, so I'm not going to give you encouragement, but I know what I'm trying to do. What are you trying to do? Asked Uluru. Uluru placed her hand on the table, looking down at the table and away from Snow White. Sachiko cared about people. She cared so much that she didn't want to use her magic. Yeah, she's a crybaby, and yeah, she can be cowardly. There's nothing wrong with that. She cares about people, though. Sarami also cared for people. She knew how they worked. I was never like that, even though I'm the eldest. I'm stupid, I'm stubborn, and she deserves so much more. Uluru began crying again. I'm sorry about earlier. I'm willing to work together. I'll set you free. I really would appreciate it if you help me, said Uluru in a soft voice, sniffling. The silence between Snow White and Uluru only lasted a minute. Snow White stood up. She placed her hands on Uluru's own hands. Uluru glanced toward Snow White. She saw her smiling. I just feel like I failed them. Uluru, if you're really going to sneak me out, you'd be betraying Puck-Puck. I can't ask you to betray the ones you love. That's something I can't do to anyone, said Snow White. Lady Puck saved my life, and I owe her my gratitude, but I can't just sit here. Something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. I'm asking you if you're sure. I am. And see, I like this. Just that line. So many good lines were in this whole speech, but something's wrong, and I don't know what it is such a good line. Alright, Snow White nodded. Snow White's hands were the warmest pair of hands Uluru's touched in a long time. It reminded her that it's been so long since she had any physical contact with anyone. Uluru wiped away her tears. I have a master key to the manor, and I can lead you out. Then we can find who caused all this, said Uluru. Before we do that, we'll need my things. My weapons and my magical phone are in some warehouse. I need Fall with me on this. Warehouse 3, that's where they kept it. I'll go get it. You stay here, okay? Said Uluru, finally confident in what she's doing. Snow White nodded again. As Uluru began to leave, she felt Snow White's hand touch her shoulders. Thank you, said Snow White. For what? For relighting my fire. For reminding me who I am. Uluru slightly nodded before leaving the room. This still, even though it's chapter 2, it still feels prologue-y. Oh my gosh. That was so good. See, I had been waiting for that meeting. That was so good. And we get to see Snow White's perspective next, so I'm excited for that. But I'm going to leave that to be excited for in the next video in like 2-3 days. So yeah, this was the first half. Second half is going to be on Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of the first half of this chapter, or what you thought of my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more Magical Girl Raising Project, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there on stuff for the channel or talk to you there. If you want a link to the Discord server, just ask and I can give you one. And if you would like to help support the channel on Patreon to make sure I can keep these videos coming, it is patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description. That is it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.